Hello, Anarchy fans, and welcome back to Anarchy Interviews, where I, Prismatic, interview Anarchy players who are famous and/or respected in their respective communities. Today, I'll be interviewing a player by the name of Bezopasan from the server 2B2T. So, do you mind giving everybody an overview of who you are?
Wow, that started really quick. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it came out of nowhere. Hello, I'm Bezopasan. I play 2B2T. I used to play 9B9T and 3B3T. And yeah, I make interviews on my channel for people on 2B, like older players, and I grief a lot of bases now on a lot of different servers.
Mhm. Alright. So, how did you get into Minecraft? Like,
Well, like most kids get into Minecraft, right? Like I was on the school bus with my friend and he recommended that I play the game on like his server, and I started playing that, and then got into like Pocket Edition for a little bit, and I would say by around like late 2013, early 2014, kind of that time, I was kind of in the Anarchy sphere by then. I had discovered 2B from this magazine that I found on a school field trip. It was called Advanced Minecrafter, and it had 2B advertised in the back of the book. So at about the time that I joined, the server was super laggy. Like it was super like almost unplayable, especially for somebody who hadn't played in that environment before. So I played 3v3t uh, for a majority of my early days, sort of around 2013, going into 2014. And I would say by about late 2014, I joined 2B around October, maybe a little bit before that, and the rest is history.
mhm. Alright. So, can you really just tell us how what drew you to Anarchy?
So I would say the appeal to Anarchy really was the fact that before I even played Minecraft, I played like large scale MMO games and stuff that gave you a lot of creativity, that gave you the ability to kind of create your own story without having to deal with like a pre-generated storyline or quest line that you had to follow, like in games like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. You can customize your character and all that, but ultimately you still end up playing the same story that tons of other people play because it's all pre-written. And so my quest cut for that kind of game kind of ended with 2B because it's so unlike any other large scale multiplayer environment in terms of uh, you're able to craft your own narrative and have true absolute freedom over what your story is on the server. And I guess with that though comes a responsibility to craft a story that you enjoy, because ultimately, you're not going to have fun on the server if you're just doing like the bare minimum, right? You have to put in effort to make your own story interesting because you're not able to follow a pre-written storyline. So I find that variability and randomness and chaotic nature of the people that play here very interesting about the server.
Um, uh, I asked this to a lot of players that I've interviewed on different servers. What were your early days on the server like?
Early days on the server just kind of consisted of walking around and running into people at spawn. Like I ran into Kane's Law and some people that don't really play anymore, right? That I became very close friends with. I ran into Drew Bookman, uh, Bernilin, and X0XP, and a lot of older players that were active back then that were kind of like spawn players. They kind of hung around spawn, and um, you would just casually run into them. And they were people that, at the time when I was really little, I thought, oh man, these guys are my best friends. Like these guys are my teammates. We're gonna make a team together. And these guys are like in their early adulthood, right? And they're obviously not concerned with me because they already have stuff going on that I didn't know about. So they were like, oh, who's this like little kid that's following us around, this squeaker that's following us around, thinking that he's like in some big group with all of us. Um, and so that kind of ultimately led to me really trying to seek out like a home on the server. And I found that within a group of friends that consisted of Exodus, Henry, and a couple other people, Jesse number seven. or number 6. I can't even remember. Um, that we all got together and we made Shenandoah together, and that was one of the original bases on 2B, one of the most a well-known original bases on 2B. There was like a big stone brick castle with a lot of surrounding little mini bases, and that was kind of where I settled down in the early days.
Mm. Alright, so from what I've seen on like your wiki page and everything, you used to run
I have a
the
wait.
KOS
I have a wiki
Assassins.
page.
Uh,
Hold that thought.
like you're mentioned on the wiki. I'm not sure if you have a
Okay, I was
page
about to say. I
yourself.
said I don't think I have a wiki page, but it'd be news to me.
Yeah, no, but I saw on the wiki that you used to run the KOS Assassins. Do you mind elaborating on what that is?
Well, let me correct the record here. I still do currently run the Chaos
Oh.
Assassins because we are always rising. Um, but the Chaos Assassins was established in 2014, uh, going into 2015, whenever Shenandoah broke up, and the members were absorbed by Sato 86 and the Valkyrians. I was very salty at Sato, so I made a group to mock his group, which was the KOS Assassins, and it was basically like all the people on his KOS list during the incursion were gonna like team up and fight back in the incursion, and it never really went anywhere. It was more of a meme group, but
Mhm.
like that kind of like was my thing back then. That kind of put me into the 2B zeitgeist was the whole KOS assassins and the term big player. You know, someone says, "Oh, they're a big player."
Mhm.
I technically came up with that term back then when I was talking to Sato. That's when it became a really popular, like funny, ironic term to use.
Mhm.
So that was one of the big things I was known for back then. But that group, the KOS Assassins, ended up evolving into when I came back in 2018, meeting Jared, right, and meeting some of the people that orbited him. We would later go on to reestablish the KOS Assassins in around 2020, whenever COVID hit, with those people that I had met in 2018. And we, PvP'd a bunch of people. Like, we were mostly a PvP group, right? So we PvP'd a bunch of people at spawn. It consisted of a lot of early Imperium and Hyperion people. And when that dissolved, uh, sort of the group, and then we kind of came back together with another iteration of KOS after that, which consisted of like Jake the Snake and a bunch of his viewers and whatnot.
Mhm.
And we were also battling people at spawn. So it just kind of, comes and goes. We're always rising, obviously. Uh, but yeah, we kind of pick up steam here and there, and we're mostly a PvP group. And now it's got a little bit more legitimacy behind it because we're actually, going out and fighting people. It's not just a meme anymore.
Mhm. All right. So I also know that you're part of the fifth column. Do you like, what is that really like?
So the fifth column is an interesting story. Originally, it's run by Orson
Mhm.
and Orfresh and Pepsi Boy. And originally, me and Orson had a lot of bad blood because I had griefed a base that he was at, and
Mhm.
he did not like me. And he had posted in the pre-June 2B2T Discord with all the pre-June players. He sent out like an all call for anyone who wanted to grief servers with him because he had just developed Copenheimer, which was the system that he was using to find random servers and subsequently grief them. And so I reached out to him and I was like, look, bad blood aside, I'm down to come and blow up servers with you. It's an all call, so might as well.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what separates him from like a lot of the other players on 2B. Like no one mentioned any specific names, but like his difference is that he's able to communicate with people that he has bad blood with, that he dislikes or that dislike him, and is able to become friends with those people like he's not going to just flat out ignore somebody, block somebody, unless they're doing something absolutely heinous. So he really likes giving people a chance to become friends with them. And that's kind of what happened, right? Like we
Mhm.
became friends through griefing servers together, and eventually, we both are very good at certain things, and when we combined forces, we kind of come to realize really quickly that the two of us together was something incredibly more powerful than each of us apart, right? Because we both had our own flaws in terms of like things that we that we were really bad about, that really screwed us over in the things that we did. But when each of us were compensating for both of those parts, uh, it's like we came together to form a whole, right?
Mhm.
And through that, I know I'm now a leader of the fifth column, recruiting people, and we've done a lot of projects since we started. And the Copenheimer bot has amassed so many servers. I mean, I don't even remember the exact number, but I know that it's an insane number of servers that have been cataloged. We have a whole system for griefing Twitch streamers now, where we use Twitch API to pull their names, so that we can go grief their servers.
Mhm.
So that's a huge thing on our channel. We've been recording reactions and making compilations. So that's kind of a big thing that's going on right now. And then on Tubi, of course, we've done a lot of griefing on there, like Sky Masons, we're notorious for
Mhm.
griefing that. Recently, the block game Babylon base that Joey Coconut and Beardler and a couple other people were at. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what we do. We grief big bases on Tubi and we grief random Minecraft servers.
Mhm. So you did mention Copenheimer, and just in case there is any people watching that don't know what it is, do you mind kind of elaborating on what it is?
So Copenheimer is a bot, and I'll try and go as much detail as I can, but I'm not really on the technical side of it. Um, Copenheimer is a bot that scans the internet for open Minecraft servers. So we, collect them, catalog them, and then we have another bot that scans over those that we've cataloged and updates them in our system so that, for instance, if we want to track a specific player, we have commands that allow us to type in a username, search that player, and because it's constantly refreshing these servers, we're able to see and like track where they go.
Mm.
Um, Also, we're able to, like I said, the Twitch API, which is a huge deal right now, because it allows us to get like live reaction, funny clips. It kind of encourages people to keep griefing. Um, and then in our client as well, we have specific modules that we've developed for griefing. We have a module called Build Poop, which is basically just like an auto lava casting module. So it will build staircases with any block you want at a very fast speed, so that we're able to lava cast like within 2-3 minutes of being on a server.
Mm.
We also have several other like better flight module that we have. We have stuff to like gaslight people with. Like if we want to make a stream, right? We don't want to show our usernames, or we want to impersonate somebody else, right? We have that kind of module as well. So we have a lot of really interesting stuff, and we're still developing interesting stuff for it as well. We've brought on a lot of different people that are interested in what we do and that are passionate about making griefing as as effortless as possible. So
Mhm.
no server is safe.
Yeah. Yeah, so you mentioned the griefing of Twitch streamers, and that on the fifth column channel would be 5C public access, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Alright. And so this is leaning to like some more recent drama and just the anarchy community as a whole. Well, so your 5C public access series ended up getting some of your members banned. Do you mind like explaining on like how that happened and everything?
Right. So, recently, I would say probably in the past month or two, we've been having to deal with Mojang. That's kind of been our biggest adversary, right? And not even just Mojang, it's specifically the Xbox chat moderators that they hired to moderate, that have no idea what the standards should be when it comes to moderation, right? They don't really even understand their own EULA. Because the reason that we got banned, right, is because our videos, they were specifically going to three different distinct videos that we were able to find, and it was only the usernames from these videos that were getting banned. Like we cross-referenced like the usernames that were banned in to the ones from the videos, and it was only those usernames.
Mm.
And it was some usernames that were even from before chat reporting was a thing. Like we had clips on there from before chat reporting existed, and that's how we knew without a shadow of a doubt that this was coming from the videos themselves. So, in my opinion, that's not only is that breaching the idea of chat reporting, right? Like it's clearly not just chat reporting anymore. Um, this is a wider range, right? But it's also like very confusing because of the reasons that we got banned. The reason that popped up when we opened the game was that it was for hateful speech, hate speech in chat, and we don't even use chat, like in-game chat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was confusing, first of all, and then we also got another reason over email that it was for uh, using a hat client to uh, antagonize others, using a hat client to mess with others in game. In which case, like, how can you really like tell the difference between a hacked client and a modded client, in your modded game?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really all the same thing. It goes to the same place.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. And just like it was not clear what it was until we discovered that with the videos. And we were actually recently able to find a way around it. An authentication exploit that allows us to use our accounts despite them being banned
Mm-hmm.
on any public server again. So we were able to circumvent the bans. The bans are really nothing more than like a medal of honor at this point. So yeah, I mean, it really did nothing to us other than get us some free clout from FitMC. So GG.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all there is to it.
Yeah. So about that email part, the last guy I interviewed, D2K11, owner of server avast.cc, he did mention that the email screenshot in your Google Doc that you guys made looked very, quote, suspicious due to the
I mean,
very noticeable font change.
if you want after the interview, I can screen share scrolling through my emails to you if you want
Oh yeah, I
proof of
mean,
this.
yeah, sure. But
But
yeah.
like, yeah, no, it's definitely not faked. I mean, I feel like if we wanted to fake something like that, we would definitely do something different. I don't know
Mhm,
why we would, fake and say that it was we're using a hack client to antagonize others.
mhm,
That's very specific, but
yeah,
um, yeah, nothing we provided was fake, and none of it really mattered anyways because we have our accounts back now. So
yeah.
that saga is kind of closed.
Mm. So, do you kind of mind going more in depth about how the unban process went?
I don't want to go too much into that, because it is an exploit and it is
Mhm.
not a public exploit that we used.
Ah,
But
alright.
just all that needs to be known is that it's an authentication exploit that allows us to use their authentication servers without like with our banned account.
Alright. Now, this is so I'm gonna kind of circle back to 2B2T related. So on June 3rd, or the evening of it, you guys announced in your public Discord to join the server of the VEA, a different group on 2B2T, to watch Orson fucking decimate their base. Do you
It's
want to
true.
comment on that?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know what the VEA is. All I know is that Orson said, "Do you want to come grief a base on 2B?" And I said, "Is it Bedrock City?" And he said, "No, it's not." And I said, "Then it's not worth my time." And so him and Zetrax went to VEA and griefed it in their Discord. I ended up joining later. Like as they started, they were in there for a while before they started griefing. But as they started griefing, I joined. Um, we started trolling in chat in their VC.
Mhm,
Yeah. Again, I have no idea who VEA is. They just kind of sound like a spawn group.
mhm.
We grief a lot of those like smaller spawn group bases. If we get a base, obviously we're gonna go grief it on 2B. Why not?
Yeah.
Um, I don't think we have any like personal intentions with that group. But I'm probably not the best person to ask in terms of that. You'd probably have more like asking someone like Orson Zetrax who knew more about the group. But
Alright.
in my opinion, the only base that matters on 2B right now is Bedrock City.
Mhm.
Shout out Usirius Berry.
Yeah, so on kind of just the same topic as 2BDT and just Anarchy servers as a whole, is there kind of any servers you'd recommend for people wanting to get into Anarchy that can't afford priority queue?
9B9T was a server that I played whenever Rushers first joined 2B2T. And at the time, it was a very fun Anarchy server, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm not sure how it is now, but it's probably one of the closest experiences you can get to 2B that isn't whitelisted like Constantium. Uh, and outside of 9B, I really don't know if I can name any other good Anarchy experiences. What is this AVAS server you were talking about? I've literally never heard of that.
Ooh, it's a smaller server. I'm one of their main media people, and it's a server that has like there's always this one hot shot that'll come in every few months and want to grief everyone, but it's a really chill server, basically
Wait, so
glorified builder server.
are they paying you? Do they pay you to be their media person?
No, I'm doing this voluntarily because I genuinely really like the server.
Hell yeah. Okay. I mean, as long as you're passionate about it, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's a small anarchy server. It's been going strong for about 3 years.
It's
And
just it's hard for me to enjoy like newer anarchy servers like that are just popping up,
mhm,
because there's not a lot of like depth to it in terms of like history and stuff you can find.
yeah,
Like with 2B, that goes back way early into the game. With
hmm
9B, now look at it now. It's like they started in like 2016. So that's like 7 years.
yeah,
That's
so
7 years of history. That's pretty good. That's like a decent amount. Same with Constantium. So yeah, I feel like as long as there's some depth to it, that's what really makes an anarchy server interesting,
mhm,
because it allows you to go out and have your own adventure and find stuff that people have left behind and build off of that. So
mhm. Also about your Constantium comment, they've recently removed the whitelist, which I've seen.
really,
Yeah, it brought in quite a few new players.
yeah, that's good. I don't think they should have had that in the first place, but
Mm,
I see where it could be necessary if they want to like maintain a certain type of player on there, but
mm,
kind of defeats the anarchy of it.
yeah. So we're kind of reaching the end of the interview now. Do you mind? Do you have like any closing statements or like any player you'd love to see get on here?
I'm just glad other people are doing interviews, honestly. I just wish I feel like you should expand to some more 2B players, because I know nothing about AVAS,
Hmm.
and I feel like if you interviewed more 2B players in this kind of quicker format, you'd probably get a lot more views because people
Hmm.
know 2B players.
Yeah.
I mean, no shade to AVAS. I'm sure it's like a great server,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'd have never heard of it until I saw your channel.
Yeah.
And if you want to bring in more engagement, I would just interview more interesting people.
Yeah.
And if you need help with that, I can probably set you up with some people. But
All
yeah,
right.
I think you're on the right path.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it for the interview then. You guys uh, since there was fifth column mentioned in here, I'll have the invite to their public server in the description.
Discord.gg/the fifth column. Hit that shit up.
Yup. Yeah, that'll be in the description. All my socials, my discords will be linked in the description. Like, subscribe. Have a nice day.